Here is my 1975 Massey Ferguson MF40. These were made from 1969 through 1975. 45 horsepower, I think they're rated at. Of course, it's an industrial model. Basically, these tractors are a, best I can figure out, they are a 135 engine coupled to a 165 rear end. Of course, the transmission's a little different. You've got a high and low, and then a 3-speed on your main shifter. And then this model is the manual shuttle. Go from forward and reverse. You have 6 gears in forward and 6 gears reverse. Some of these tractors were equipped with a what they called an instant reverse, and basically I've never been on one. I don't know I don't know exactly. I don't know if it's a torque converter or just some way. Anyway, instead of a clutch pedal, you would have 2 pedals up right there, one forward, or no, they were on this other side over here. Instead of your brake pedals, you would have a forward and reverse pedal, and then your brake pedal would be over here. You wouldn't have a clutch. And I think, like for backhoe work and everything, that might have been more ideal. But the something is screwy with the, just talking to different people, something is screwy with the PTO on them. Of course, most of these tractors had come from the factory with backhoes on them. Some of them, I have seen some other videos where some of them still had a 3-point hitch, but had the instant reverse transmission. Now, it's my understanding that the PTO and the 3-point hitch pump both run off the same shaft. So I don't really know how they're... The way I understand it, your PTO won't turn unless you've got the pedal, your forward and reverse pedal on the instant reverse tractors, one way or the other, and your PTO won't turn. So it's more or less, you got to be moving before your PTO will go in gear, or you put your main transmission into neutral and then push one of the pedal. It just seems aggravating to me. I don't know how well it would work, actually. I don't think any of the instant reverse tractors come factory with a PTO, but some of them did come with 3-point hitch, and I think they had a factory installed grader blade, or you could buy a Massey Ferguson grader blade that had, instead of the upper lift arms right here, it had cylinders there to level it left and right, and then you also had a hydraulic third arm to adjust the tilt. I don't know, all of them I've seen had a valve mounted up on the fender. I don't know if they were running off the front pump that the loader runs off of, or how all that worked. But anyway, this one's a manual shuttle, so it works basically just like a regular farm tractor, other than you do have a shuttle forward and reverse, which is nice whenever you're doing loader work or whatnot. This tractor originally come with a backhoe on it when I bought it, and I used it and then done a lot of stuff with it and everything, but got to where I wasn't using it much, so I took it off and put it in the barn, and of course it already had the PTO, and it had the lift arm, or it had the where the lift arms bolt on, but it didn't have none of that, so I had to acquire all that. Don't really even know what it come off of. I just went to talked to them at a Massey Ferguson salvage yard, and they told them what I was trying to do, and I went down there, and they already had all the parts laying in the floor what I needed. Drawbar and all the 3-point hitch stuff and all that. So they gathered it up for me, so I just paid them for it and come home and bolted it all on. And if I want to put the backhoe on, it pins on, it's got some brackets there. It pins on to the loader brackets, and then it's got some other brackets. You can put it back on in about 30 minutes. Just take it back off, although I don't much, just because I don't really need a backhoe that much anymore. But if I do, I can put it back on. It's sitting in the barn in the dry. But what I mean, I use the 3-point hitch more than anything. This is that box blade, and I got a little 6-foot bush hog that I put behind it. Another thing I done when I took the backhoe off is I mounted an auxiliary valve up here to run my remotes. I've got one remote here, and I got one that goes toward the front, and that powers any attachments that require hydraulics on the front of the tractor. It basically just ties in where the backhoe tied in, right there on the backhoe loader valve. It's got a power beyond, and it feeds my remote valves. And basically, what you do, if I want to put the backhoe back on, there's a quick coupler there, and there's another one under the tractor there you can't see. But basically, just unhook that and hook my backhoe back up to it. So this is a 75 model. Good little old tractor, got a 3-cylinder Perkins in it. And on the front here, got the Westendorf quick attach. Not that I think that's necessarily any better than anything else. It's just when I got this tractor, the other loader tractor I had, it already had the Westendorf, and so all my attachments were already set up for Westendorf. So once you get stuck with an attachment system, either you sell all your attachments and buy all new, or you just keep going with what you got. Now I do like this system. I mean, it's more out of the way when you don't have anything hooked to it. I think it's a little more positive connection than a skid steer attachment, which is the industry standard now. I mean, some of them get worn, and the bucket or whatever will just fall off. But anyway, if I had it to do over again, I would probably go with the skid steer style, just because everything you find nowadays as far as attachments is pretty much skid steer. I just got done. I bought a grapple bucket, and I just got done. I mean, it already had the skid steer quick attach on it, and all I'd had done was hooked up to it and go. But I had to build something that would set this Westendorf hook up before I could even use it. But anyway, there it is. This tractor, I think these tractors originally come with, I think they were 20-inch tires, but they're real narrow. And these tractors, whenever it's got the backhoe on it, it's real light in the front end. It had wheel weight, it had tires and fluid-filled tires and wheel weights on the front when I got it. But you try to load it on a trailer or something, if you wasn't real careful, that thing would just rear up, even with a bucket on, empty bucket, of course. You just had to be real careful loading it, because it was real light in the front end. Because I think that backhoe weighs 2,500 pounds or so, and then it's hanging way off the back. But when you take the backhoe off, or you've got one of these tractors that never had a backhoe on it, they're real heavy in the front end. And the front end just sinks up. And I put these, I think these are 1115s. That was a big improvement on it. But still, it's still light in the back end. I've got fluid-filled tires in the back end, but got some wheel weights that come off 1100 Massey. But I was hoping they would just bolt directly on when I bought them, but they won't. They're too big. But I think I can make some brackets there to where I can bolt them on there. And I think I got 8 totals, 4 on each side. So that should help. I mean, even with the box blade or my 6-foot bush hog, it's still awful light in the back end. But anyway, a tractor this size, 2-wheel drive, is never gonna do as well as a 4-wheel drive tractor. But that's the way these things were back in the day. Good little old tractor. I think it's got 673 hours on it. Them are original hours. I've known this tractor since it was brand new. It belonged to the my uncle's boss. He owned a crane and a construction outfit. He more or less bought this tractor, I guess new in '75. He bought it new, and just to play with on the farm. It was just a tax write-off for him, and so it never did get used much. And when I got it, it had 431 hours on it, and that's about 6 years ago. Of course, I had to do it sit outside most of its life. I had to do a lot of work on it. Repack all the cylinders, replace just about every hose, and I actually had to rebuild the motor where it sat outside and rained down an exhaust for 15 years. The motor was just seized plumb up. But yeah, this is my little old tractor here. And I wouldn't trade it. I don't know as I'd trade it for a brand new one. I mean, it does what I need to do, and I can work on it. With them low hours, everything on it's tight. I mean, even the hoe, it's just super tight. And of course, I didn't have a toolbox. None of these tractors, I guess, had a toolbox, and I mounted a little ammo can right there. That's my toolbox. And there it is.